So I grew up surrounded by mountains, so it's very nice to be in Colorado. I grew up in a really small town called Hope, actually. Hope, British Columbia. Had about 5,000 people. And I grew up with this idea that writers were some other group of people. I loved to read, but I didn't know any writers. There weren't any writers living in my town that I knew of. I read my own email. I schedule book club call-ins. On average, I talk to about 40 book clubs a month. And it all began when a group of readers in Minnesota emailed me at my website and asked me if I would telephone them. I'd never heard of authors calling book clubs. I was completely intimidated. As a woman who'd been a journalist, I was trained to call strangers sources and ask them questions. As a writer, as my private self, I was not accustomed to calling a group of women I had never met and have them ask me any question they could think of. It was a little scary. But I was fortunate that the first group of women I spoke to were so warm and so welcoming. We had such a good time laughing. And they told me so much about themselves, and I realized that they wanted to share their own community with me as much as they wanted answers to some of their questions about the Friday Night Knitting Club. Now, that first book club, we have talked 3 times now about all of my 3 novels. We just back. It just came out a few weeks ago. I've been traveling around the country, sharing it with readers. And what's exciting for me about this book is it's a bit different than the knitting series. It's definitely upbeat. It's very lighthearted. It feels very right for the moment. And I'm not psychic, but it has a Bernie Madoff style twist. So, I wrote it back in 2007, and I remember when I was working on the story, my editor said, "You know, is this really believable?" And I said, "I think it is." And so I have writers emailing, "How did you know that about Bernie Madoff? How did you know this would happen?" Well, I didn't. But as a writer, it's fun to live in, your imagination. Now, Comfort Food is a story about a woman who is the host of a TV cooking program. Her name is Augusta Simpson. Her nickname is Gus. She's approaching 50 as Comfort Food begins. And while she has some concerns about this, because her concept of what 50 means is different than how she feels inside, she's given this number power over her. She thinks something momentous is going to happen when she hits that big 5-0. However, her producers, remember she's in media, feel she's aging out of the demo. Their solution is to bring on a much younger, very beautiful co-host. The problem, of course, is that co-host wouldn't mind pushing Gus right off her own program and taking over the show herself. I just sometimes call and I'm in my writing pajamas, and I think, I don't know if I want everyone to see me, with my hair crazy and in my glasses and all of that. But what I do is I have a contact page on my website. People can put in the date, time, phone number, all the specific details. They'll get an automatic response, and then if I can fit it into my schedule, I'll confirm with them, and then I call them. Most people have speakerphone function on their telephone, and so they just have to hit a button. It's very easy for them. And thanks to the magic of flat rate calling, it's very easy for me. I once had a reader said, "How do you call these book clubs?" I said, "Well, Vonage." And sometimes I call from my cell phone as well. But technically, it's very straightforward for them. I have, though, used Skype as well. And I may do some video Skyping, maybe. I haven't decided yet. It's very interesting. Sometimes I'm always talking from my home office, which is where I write my books. And it's very important to me that that space be very private, because when you're writing, you need a private space. The other thing is that I'm often on the go when I'm calling book clubs. So I'll have my headset on, and I'll be heading to, wherever it is, running some errands and whatnot, and fitting that in between. And this is the way I manage doing my laundry and calling book clubs and writing books. You have to juggle. We all have to juggle whatever it is that we're doing. And so it is very straightforward, though. My website is katejacobs.com. It's my name. My email is kate@katejacobs.com. It's really straightforward.